Sitting in silence for some is stressful, others depressing. For me, it's relaxing. I guess I get this from my forefathers. I remember driving in a car with my stepfather when I was younger, and him just turning off the radio. I asked him why did he do that, and he said, I just need a moment of silence. I asked him why. He said, something I can't explain, but you will know when you get older. Same thing with my birth father, but I didn't have to ask him because I already knew. As I sit in silence, contemplating my next move, I'm reminded about the story of Daniel and how every move he made was through faith, and through that faith arose courage. The courage to stand against anything that came against him and God. The first story I remember about Daniel was about how he stood up against King Nebuchadnezzar. King Nebuchadnezzar had captured the Israelites and took them as captives. He then took Daniel, Meshach, Abednego, and Shadrach into the palace and made them servants of the palace. During that time, King Nebuchadnezzar was trying to offer them the king's meat, but his meat was impure to them because it was meat that God commanded them not to eat. The king got offended by that and ordered them to eat or be slain. But Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they stood for what they believed. And Daniel came up with the plan. He told King Nebuchadnezzar that if he gave him 21 days of eating only fruits and vegetables, that he would see he was stronger and wiser than King Nebuchadnezzar's men who ate his meat. This humored King Nebuchadnezzar. So he let it go. He agreed to Daniel's agreement. And he said, after 21 days, we'll have a showing. And if you can beat my men, then I will not make you eat my meat. But if my men beat you, you and all of your men will die. After 21 days of fasting and praying, Daniel and his men showed himself to King Nebuchadnezzar and their men. Daniel and his men were faster, stronger, and wiser than King Nebuchadnezzar's men, just as he said. Most people would think just because they ate healthier, they were in better shape. But because I know who God is and how faith works, I know that God empowered them even more. Because God uses those who seem weaker to convince those who seem stronger that He is the strongest of all in all lands, and He holds the highest title. But that's not the only moment God used Daniel to show that to King Nebuchadnezzar. Years later, King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream that he couldn't understand. And because he wanted to see if his royal council was as wise as Daniel, he ordered them to tell him what his dream was and to tell him what it means. Of course, no one could do it. But Daniel prayed to God, asked God to reveal his dream to him. And God did. After God revealed his dream, Daniel told King Nebuchadnezzar what his dream was and what it meant. This put King Nebuchadnezzar in awe, and it made him appoint Daniel to a high-ranking position in his royal court. After that, King Nebuchadnezzar still was in disbelief of God's power and of Daniel's God. So he created his own God, a God out of pure gold. After that, he commanded that everybody bowed down to his God and made his God their God and worshiped his God. But Daniel's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, denied. King Nebuchadnezzar used crueling tactics to make those bow who didn't want to. Some bowed willingly after seeing how others were murdered or beaten for not bowing, but not those three. This angered King Nebuchadnezzar. He even tried to bribe them with positions just like he gave Daniel. But they denied. So he threatened them with death. Death by being burnt alive in the very furnace that he made his God out of. And he told him to turn the temperature all the way up. Make it 10 times as hotter. When he threw the boys in there, he wanted to look inside, to see them burn, to see them squeal and suffer. But when he looked, he seen that they were perfectly fine. And not only that, that the Son of Man was with them and protecting them. After witnessing such miracles, he ordered his guards to turn off the furnace and to open the door. The 3 boys walked out, and they didn't even smell like smoke, nor was any hair hinged or scorched by the fire. This made King Nebuchadnezzar more of a believer, to the point to where he appointed that Daniel's God and those who believe in Daniel's God could worship him freely in the land. This story is so powerful to me, especially in today's times, where it seems like being a man, let alone being a man of faith, is so hard. It feels like you have everything working against you. the government, your jobs, family and friends, sometimes even yourself. And sometimes we fall short, forgetting what we believe. By feeding our flesh instead of sticking to our faith. But just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, even the ones who taught us how to have faith is gone. We have to remember what we were taught. And we have to remember what God has done for us. And have faith that will stand strong even if we're thrown in the fire. For it may look like the fire can take us. It may look like we will surely die and be burnt into ashes. But when the heat comes off and the furnace door opens, I know that I will be better than before, untouched, unharmed by the fire. And those who threw me to the fire will be in awe and be in belief that God is still alive, even in today's time. As for me, I'm going to use this story to grow my faith so that I may stand stronger, so that I may move wiser and faster in my next season.